4, 3, 2, 1. Me? All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the ALCast. This is your friends, the ALCs, Lane Lane Champs. I'm Allan.
I'm Chris.
I'm Nathan.
I'm Justin.
And welcome to this week's ALCast, where I'd like to talk about the old internet. So what do I mean by the old internet? I mean the dial-up days of figuring out how to get on AOL for free and just the kinds of shenanigans you get up to back in the internet. Back before people really, at least the older generation, really cared about the internet. The forums, the groups, and all that sort of stuff that you guys did. As a quick sort of overall storyline of me in the early internet, it was mostly figuring out how to get on AOL with those 5 bazillion free discs I had. AOL chat rooms were legit and amazing. AIM chat rooms, fucking Neopets, Newgrounds, all that kind of stuff. What was everyone else's sort of initial sort of experiences and relationships with the internet?
I want to talk about what's Justin's picture right now. What did you type in this?
I typed in, I think I typed in Einhorn Finkel, which is his.
This is a computer generated, AI generated picture.
This is an AI generated picture of Justin's D&D character's name, Einhorn Finkel, and it gave us this.
Was that literally the only prompt you used?
That's the only prompt I use. The art style. So this website is hotpod.ai, and they have a whole bunch of like pre-made art styles, and the art style I chose was quote Hotpod Art 2. They have everything ranging from like 3D generated to comic books to anime and portraits and all that stuff. I just picked Hotpot 2, which I guess is their own in-house thing.
I like it. It's some kind of bi porn.
It looks like it. Kind of mystical, elvish maybe.
It's in a glade.
Kind of cute.
In a glade.
It kind of looks like Midjourney.
A little bit. It reminds me of Teldrassil, which if anyone else played Night Elf, you guys would appreciate.
Yeah, I do see that.
Yeah, I can see
Justin, are you implying that the different AI generators have distinct looks?
Oh,
so
yeah,
this
they
looks like a
definitely
Midjourney. They have an artist signature. What are they?
Fuck, it's hard to tell now because Midjourney just released V4, so everything looks a little bit different now. But previously with V3, like it was mostly used for like backgrounds and stuff, or like landscapes. It didn't really generate characters super well, but now it does characters pretty well. It really depends on the model you're using. Like Midjourney has like a very specific model that it used. Stable Diffusion has a whole bunch of different models. They're all completely fucking different. And then DALL-E 2 has its own sort of style as well. Like it's hard to kind of describe it because it really depends on what you're trying to do. But like, I don't know. They all have like distinct style but it's hard to really nail down.
That's interesting. I like that. I like that they have distinct styles. Fascinating, I think is a better word for it.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think I started the dial-up era as well. I mean, obviously as a child I don't remember actually hooking any of it up. My parents did it, but we had a dial-up modem. You couldn't call anybody while people were online. Mm-hmm. The only place you went online was like AOL.com and the mail, and then like that's where you would find chat rooms and stuff. How much chat rooming did you do?
Very good.
like in the AOL generic ones, not much really. But there was a period of time was like we had like, someone's like cousin or like friend of a friend come over and it's like, oh, did you know in AIM there's all these chat rooms, and then like you go into like chat rooms or like start like DMing random people, and then like it's like how'd you learn about like what like A/SL and stuff, man. It's just some kid came over. It's like, look, you go in the chat room, you type in ASL, like this is how you do it. This is the script, and then you just start chatting with random people.
I had to figure all that out on my own. I didn't have kid come over and help me find that.
It's just like the kid that comes over and like teaches
I have
your
vivid
kid all the bad stuff.
I have vivid memories of having a conversation with someone back in that time that I had met on a chat room, and like knowing 100% this is an adult man pretending to be like a 16-year-old girl. Like 1,000,000%.
What gave it away?
I don't know, just
That was such a
I was like 12 at the time, and I was just on these chat rooms, and people would get really friendly and start talking to you about stuff, and you're like, no. ASL? Oh, I'm just like you, 14, female.
I don't know. I never got that like sort of, I guess, internal warning sign as a kid. I'm sure most of the people I talked to were like that. But at the same time, I feel like we were in there in its infancy, so it's just like
I've almost been picked up by when I was a kid, almost was picked up by a pedophile.
Jesus
God.
Christ.
What the
110%, like saw his face on the news like not even a week from when he offered to give my brother and I a ride to school in his van.
In his van. He couldn't even say
In his
goodbye.
van, he was like, it was raining outside, and I guess he thought this is like the prime time to go do it, and he was just driving around and like looking for people. And to get to middle school back then, I used to take like 2 SEPTA buses, like 2 public transportation buses, just to get to school. And while I was waiting at one of the stops in the rain, this guy comes by. He's like, "Hey, are you going to the school right down here? I can take you. I'm going there too."
Jesus.
It's like,
fucking
no.
Probably
Christ.
was.
Oh my
No
God.
fucking way. Nope. Nope.
You remember that South Park episode where the kids all get like weapons and start like going around town with like their like swords and like nunchucks and stuff? So when we were little, when we were like 10 years old, 11 years old, we go to Chan's house, and Chan had like fucking katanas and like sais and nunchucks and shit. So we'd like grab weapons and like
It doesn't surprise me at all.
go out at like 1 a.m. as like little 11-year-olds, 12-year-olds, and just like go down the neighborhood, just like pretending we're like the fucking, I don't know, in South Park or Lord of the Rings or some shit. And we go to like a 7-Eleven, get a soda, get some snacks, and then come back. And
With you'd bring all the weapons into the 7-Eleven.
we'd go all the way up to like the 7-Eleven, put them in a bush, and then walk
Okay.
inside, and then go walk back outside,
my
grab
God.
from the bush. So one time we were walking, and these dudes like they just like stopped their car. I thought they said, "Hey, you guys want to go see some trucks?" I was like, "No, we're good, thanks." Like fucking 2 a.m. And then Russell was like, "Oh wow, they just offered us drugs." I was like, "Really? I thought they wanted to like show us some trucks."
You guys want some drugs?
Yeah, Russell was like, it's like, yeah, that guy just asked us if we wanted drugs. I was like, well, I don't want drugs, nor do I want to see trucks. So I'm glad they left.
No, thank you. No trucks for me, Sarah.
I'm good, dog. See you later.
So it's kind of a topic ago, but I have a very specific first internet memory.
Sure, lay it on us, Nate.
So there was this video game called Cyberstorm. It was this like hex-based like tactics game, and it had this net play feature. And I remember, I don't know how we decided to do this or whose idea it was actually. I think maybe like I heard that somehow you could connect and like play over the internet. So it was
Is it called Mission Force Cyberstorm?
I just remember Cyberstorm. I don't know what.
Yeah,
else it
this
was.
looks like it. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is it.
And so Daniel Capoletti also had that game, and we were in elementary school. Like we this was like we were like 7 or 8 years old or something like that. And I just remember like both of our dads were like on the phone trying to figure out like what the heck to do. And then it's like it's like they both had to hang up and they both had to dial up the internet and then connect successfully. And there's this whole process where like I think they had to try that like at least 3 times. Just
Because you
like
had to place your Cyberstorm.
yeah, and also I think they just were kind of curious about getting it to work too. But I just remember them trying to get it working. I I don't actually remember like playing the game that much after.
And now look, you've moved up. You've you've moved so far. You've progressed so far. Now you're playing BAR. I looked at this and I was like instantly, oh yeah, this is the game Nate's talking about. This is a game Nate would spend a lot of time on.
It's a good game.
Great job.
Yeah, I was playing that earlier today actually.
Cyberstorm or BAR?
BAR.
I have a distinct internet memory from dial-up days. I was in like 3rd grade, and I had to do like a report on penguins or something. And so I go to Yahoo to search up penguins, and I typo and I search for pegans instead. And I think this is my first encounter with internet porn. Like, apparently pegans is slang for boobs. So it's just like a message board of like old dudes like posting
Where?
boobs and being like, I love me some pegans. Just really weird. I was like, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm gonna get my mom now. I don't know what.
I don't think pegans.
Peguin.
Guin. Search for penguin instead. No, I still just see penguins.
Yeah, I don't know.
PEGU. I found paganism. I don't know what it is, but there's a subreddit on paganism, which
I
I,
don't know. It
believe
might
is
just be-
peeing on things in protest.
It might just be like outdated at this point, but I distinctly remember it. Like,
Penguin, an animal that flies and crawls at the same time. Don't mistake it with a penguin.
Jesus Christ.
I actually really like that.
What kind of like sites and shit did you guys used to go on as a kid all the time? I was on fucking Neopets. Like, I was on that shit.
Fucking Neopets.
Neopets.
Yeah, Neopets. Shitty GeoCity sites about Dragon Ball. I would spend like half an hour downloading like a 20-second clip of Dragon Ball GT, like all the time, just like all day, every day. As long as I could, anyway.
Before YouTube, before you could just search for like anything, and you
Right,
had to
yeah.
actually go around and like look for stuff, hunt for it yourself.
I just remember the website I was on. It's E-Bombs World. You guys remember that one?
Yeah.
Is that dial-up? Like,
I don't know if that's dial-up.
That was like late middle school, early high school. So it's like just getting into like
2001, it was launched.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like the era. That's the DSL era for me.
Me too. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't really do much on the dial-up. I played a little bit of StarCraft, I think, to chat rooms. That was about it.
I almost never played like online multiplayer games. Like we tried to do like Warcraft 2 and 3, but like the BattleNet and that thing was just always fucking laggy. I don't even think we ever got a solid game in.
There's one I had in high school, had a laptop that was old as fuck, but had a dial-up modem, and I would use it at night. I would sit in my like bedroom at night and like use it because nobody was using the internet. Like nobody's using the phone, so I could just like talk to people until like 2 a.m. on AIM or something.
Yeah, man. So like there were a lot of things I did on the early internet. Like it was mostly just like search for random crap. And inevitably it would bring you to like shitty GeoCities or AngelFire websites, and then you would look at it and be like, "Oh my god, look at this thing! That's amazing!" And then you would download the pictures, and like I don't know, do something with it. I think I used to look up Power Ranger websites a lot, and I would like just download pictures and I would make bookmarks and I would print out the bookmarks and laminate them and then hawk them at school. Um, just like just random shit. Just like print it out, like do shit with it and then like sell it. That was like a very specific pattern I had in like elementary school. And then I think in middle school I still had dial up for a good while. And like I did the other things that you would normally do. I think did I have Kazaa at that point?
Of
Um
course you
Mm.
did. Don't pretend like you didn't, buddy. You know you did.
I
no,
always
I'm trying to remember if
went
that
to a
was like the
friend's house and
DSL
used their
era.
computer.
I can't remember if that was the DSL era or if that was the dial-up era. I think it was the dial-up era still.
I for sure had that shit in the dial-up era, so I know you must have for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I got DSL pretty early actually. Like, but yeah, like you would download. You would take like a week to download like one episode of like Love Hina or something. Um, what else did I do?
I
I
remember.
did play. I did play like Brood War and stuff. With other people, I would like download Duke Nukem or like game demos from HappyPuppy.net or something. Um, it was mostly just like Doom clones. But I don't know. It was pretty fun. I found a lot of interesting games that I do not remember the name of, and I wish I did because I think they would actually be cool games still. Um, I played Yeah, I played Quake a little bit online, but that shit was like fucking impossible. I don't know how people did it. Um, like that shit was like LAN only. Um,
I played a bunch of games on Newgrounds, I think.
Newgrounds and Addicting Games had like solid fucking flash games. Like,
oh,
solid.
fucking White Team Indy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I did that on dial-up for a little while.
What I also
I
remember
played-
is it being not at all established, like what a good search engine was. Using like Alta Vista and Ask Jeeves and
Ask
stuff.
Jeeves a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was weird. Like school would pimp out like weird shit, and I'd be like, why the fuck are we just not using Yahoo? Like Yahoo is like 10 times better than this. What the fuck?
Yahoo.
Um,
Yahoo.
yeah, just
Thank you for saying something.
yeah,
Yahoo?
Yahoo.
yeah,
Yahoo.
Yahoo. Wait,
Yoo-hoo.
What? Yahoo?
You?
Yahoo.
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 No, you're saying YEA who.
You're saying Yahoo.
Yeah, Yahoo.
Yahoo.
No, is this actually a regional difference thing? Like, what the fuck?
It's
I think
Very-
we're emphasizing the second syllable, and you're like.
how do you
emphasizing
say
both
the
same.
name of Luigi's brother?
Mario.
Mario.
Yeah, Mario.
Marihu.
Mario.
Did AOL had a pretty solid search, didn't they?
Yeah, I think
I vaguely remember just
Kinda.
using AOL search for a lot of stuff.
They were very curated with their search.
I did not. I was at that time. I don't think I was understanding that. I was like, this isn't giving me all the results that I think it should be giving.
Right, yeah. Not necessarily a bad thing at the time. I'm just, yeah. I don't think I ever actually had Yahoo. Not Yahoo. I never actually had AOL. I had just regular dial-up. I don't even know who we got it through. Actually, no,
I
that's
don't
not
think
true.
I had AOL either.
We had several different service providers. I think when I was in elementary school, my aunts and uncles needed dial-up for college stuff, so I just bummed off whatever they had. And then whenever we moved, we had like free dial-up services. There were a bunch of them. It was like Net Zero and Juno, and there were a bunch of different providers. But basically, like you would have like 10 minutes of internet time a day, and they would fill your fucking computer with ads, as many ads as they could stuff into whatever you were doing. But I abuse shit at it. I use it for Neopets like all the time. I went to like what was it? Game Genie, not Game Genie. There was like a website that was like cheat codes for like video games and
Cheat Code
stuff.
Central,
Yeah,
CCC.
Cheat
Yeah,
CC.
that one. And then I think eventually they became like IGN or something, and I would just go there and like read whatever article they had up.
Oh man, I remember just like opening up torrents and just like leaving them on all day.
Mm-hmm.
I remember. I think it took me
What do you
like
think you torrented the most of?
it depended. Like there was like I didn't really have Napster that often, like because it kept like getting shut down and stuff. But I remember like LimeWire was huge.
LimeWire, yeah.
Between like the Napster and the Kazaa era, there was LimeWire. And so I had LimeWire, and there'd always be like, oh, here's like the most popular shit today, and it'd be like the craziest mashups of like, you know, songs and like clips from like sound bites from like sitcoms and all this sort of shit all mashed together. And as a kid, you're like, this is fucking genius. Like, I've never heard better music than this. So
When Kazaa or when those sites started allowing you to stream the stuff that you were torrenting, like while it was installing, oh my god, groundbreaking.
So
I would watch just so much random shit.
I didn't use LimeWire or Kazaa. There was this one kind of in between those two though that might even still be around called SoulSeek. That's the one that I was on.
Never even heard of that one.
Are you sure that wasn't like a single site?
No, it was peer-to-peer files, but mostly music though. And because I knew that LimeWire was sketchy, and I knew that software on peer-to-peer was sketchy, so like I tried to keep it to music. And there was this interesting feature on SoulSeek where people would post up all their songs, and you could right-click on anything and download the containing folder, which is normally the album if somebody had things organized in a sensible way. But you didn't actually like. I wouldn't check what the containing folder was. I'd just see a song, go, oh, get this album, download containing folder. And sometimes you would just start downloading somebody's C drive because that's where they had like the song, or just like however, yeah. So you just get like weird stuff. That's actually kind of how I got into the music that I'm into. Just like I download the folder that stuff was in, and then like whatever was there, I'd listen to it.
Let's see. Brief history on this stuff. Artista Records LLC versus Lime Group LLC suing LimeWire. Blah, blah, blah. They were figuring out the damage. As a result of the injunction, the RIAA initially suggested that LimeWire was responsible for how much, what's the dollar amount in damages you think that LimeWire was responsible for?
500 million. No.
It was like 100 billion, right?
500
100
million?
billion?
100
It's a
billion?
500 million.
Nate, what do you think?
30 billion.
30 billion. RIA initially suggested that LimeWire was responsible for $72 trillion in damages.
Trillion?
Yeah, I think that was like more money than existed on the planet, right?
I
Yes.
see what it. Sometimes you just fill in as many zeros as you can. Yeah.
Before eventually settling for 105 million. And that judge is fucking Judge Kimba Wood. That's the same judge that if you guys watch that that Netflix little like mini documentary series about the kid who wanted the jet plane, the Harrier plane from Pepsi.
The what?
Excuse me? You're going to need to
Yeah,
explain
you're
this
gonna
a
have to go
little
in depth on that one.
Okay.
What the fuck?
Okay, back in the 90s, there was a cola war. We actually learned this in law school. This is it's like super duper important.
If you
case.
call it the Cola War.
So no, we didn't learn about the cola wars in law school. We learned
In law school, we learned about the Cola Wars.
we learned about the subsequent case. But in the 90s, there was the cola wars, and like Coca-Cola was dominating everybody, and Pepsi wanted to they had to figure out a way to do it. They had to figure out a way to beat Coke. So they wanted to do it by like getting all the young people buying as much Pepsi product as possible. So they did that by dumping a shitload of money into like celebrities, and then dumping a shitload of money into like, you know, contests and
That's about the time that a lot of places were doing these like merchandise, like you would buy a pack of something and then you would keep
Right.
the stubs, and if you collected enough stubs you could send it in for a thing, and
So
all that
Hats,
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a cousin who would just like go fucking hog wild on Pepsi shit. He had like a Pepsi jacket and like a Pepsi hat.
that's exactly the thing. So like at the end of the commercial for like all their merch, it was like, oh, you know, Pepsi glasses, cap, jacket. They'd be like Pepsi Harrier jet, 7 million points. and it's the story about this like kid who with his like this older guy who is like a mentor to him. It's like they figure out a way to buy the points, and they end up suing Pepsi. Pepsi sues them, and this judge Kimba Wood is the judge who fucking finally nails the hammer in that case and says, "No, this is ridiculous. You don't get your jet."
Wait, you don't get your jet?
That's what he said.
Yeah, you don't get your jet.
You don't get your jet? That is
Yeah.
I think I
bullshit.
remember that
That's
commercial.
bullshit, man. That's
I mean, there's a lot.
what do you call it? Miscarriage of justice.
That is.
So-
Disbar that motherfucker.
So there's a lot of reasons
Pointy.
why people why we study that case in law school. It's like pretty important to like contract law and the basis of a contract, advertisements.
Okay, all right.
Like puffery
when
and stuff.
when our reality turned into the dark times and fucking law sided with the business.
Yeah, like
Now
what,
you
what
don't
is
get
the,
your plane.
what is the explanation for not getting the plane?
It's generally that like, so there's a couple things. One is that they sent in a check for 700 grand. For 700 grand would be 10 cents a point. Okay, so you could like write in 10 cents a point and just send them a check to get your merch. So they did that, and they wrote in a check for 700 grand, and they filled like there was no spot on the card for like, oh, I want to purchase a jacket. They just wrote in Harrier Jet 7 million points. Wrote a check for 700 grand. So that's
Okay, wait a minute. This okay, so Pepsi never said
Pepsi had a
we'll
commercial.
give.
No, they had an advertisement. There was a commercial. At the end of the commercial, it said like hat 500 points, jacket 5,000 points, Harrier Jet 7 million points. And so the case becomes like when an advertisement becomes an offer, and like what a reasonable person would expect from a company. A Harrier Jet at the time cost like $30 million, and it was just like, why would they give you a plane worth $30 million for 700,000? It was like I get sort of the legal theory of it. I still think he should have gotten the fucking plane.
No, I don't know. At this point, I'm starting to lean a little bit more towards Kimball. That's his name.
Judge Kimba Wood.
Kimba
I mean,
Wood.
it sounds like Pepsi should have been more careful with the language, like on their ad.
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
I think they should have got a nice settlement. But it sounds like
They were offered.
these
he was
two
offered
folks.
a settlement for like $1.5 million, I think.
Damn.
Did they
wouldn't go
actually
buy-
pay $700,000
They wrote
for
a-
these tickets, or they wrote this check
They wrote
to
a-
them, and then
they
Pepsi
wrote
was
a
like,
check.
"No."
So the kid's mentor was a guy that like he taught how to climb and stuff, and the guy like took the kid under his wing because he was like, the kid wants to be a businessman.
Turned him into a scammer.
No,
Okay, yeah,
no,
turned him into a con artist.
He's like the kid wants to be a businessman. I own a bunch of successful businesses. If he comes to me with an idea, then like I'll help him out. Like that was his idea. And so the kid wrote the business plan and did all the shit. And he was like, oh, maybe we'll give it a shot. So
Business plan, like get Harrier Jet.
yeah,
Do cool shit. with it.
Buy $700,000 worth of Pepsi points.
because their original plan was gonna be to buy the raw Pepsi merchandise, and it was gonna cost around $4.5 million. And so at first the guy was like, I don't know, man, $4.5 million. Like, where are we gonna store all this shit? Like, they had like the kid wrote a business plan. He was like, we need like 6 warehouses in these cities. It's gonna cost this much money. And then at the very end, he was like, yeah, a couple months later, I realized you could just buy the points for 10 cents each, and it's only going to cost us 700 grand. At that point,
Took this motherfucker months to. So he.
Oh, okay, all right. This was like the
He's making
90s,
me
I
angry.
assume?
I'm with
Like-
Kimballwood now.
Like that stuff was like esoteric. It was really hard to find. Like you had to like really read through like the fine text of the fucking label or whatever the deal was.
Apparently, he found apparently he never seen like the brochure for it, because it only like select stores had like the stand that had like Pepsi, here's your merchandise catalog. So like some random 7-Eleven, like the kid saw like, here's the Pepsi catalog. Because remember, this is in the 90s, so it's the information wasn't quite as available as it is to us now.
Like I said, I know a person who personally like got this merchandise, like did this thing and like cut out those Pepsi things and like sent it in. I don't think it's too crazy to like find that information. I think this person was a real big dummy. I
Maybe,
still
man.
think just out of principle, I still think Pepsi should have paid them a lot of money. But
Well, they offered him over $1 million as a settlement, like way in the beginning, but he said no.
essentially, these guys were just like, "I call your bluff."
Pretty much, yeah. But the thing is, like they interview like the advertisers, the executives, all this sort of shit, and like all the executives for Pepsi are just like, it's like this kid's insane. Like, ooh, a Harrier jet. What? How are we gonna give him like a weapon of war? But like the one dude who was like, he was like the CEO of the advertising company that Pepsi hired. He was just like, dude, I sent in the fucking commercial, and the commercial said like 700 million points for the Harrier jet. Not
7 million Pepsi points.
Yeah, not 7 million. He put in the original advertisement 700 million points, and then guys and like they're the corporate PR people, marketing people were just like, yeah, 700 million doesn't look sexy. Make it 7 million.
Yeah, that sounds like corporate's fuck up, man. I don't know. I think they should got that blame.
Yeah, I think they are the kid of jet.
I agree.
So it reminds me of that thing on Reddit that I saw. I don't even know if it was on Reddit. Somebody was in the grocery store and he saw this big wheel of cheese with a sticker on it that said $10. And like maybe the intention was for it to be $10 a pound, but they just mislabeled it. They're like, this whole fucking thing's $10, and it was like 50 pounds of cheese.
That shit's usually like $2,000 worth of cheese.
Yeah.
This part right here bugs the fuck out of me. This was in the 90s,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
The court found that even if the advertisement had been an offer, no reasonable person could have believed that a company seriously intended to convey a jet worth roughly $37.4 million for $700,000 was, like, i.e. that it was mere puffery.
Yes.
Who? What? What reasonable person? I guarantee you go on the street right now and say, how much does a Harrier jet cost? And not a single fucking person will know that answer.
Okay, all right. If you
would have told me it cost $700,000, I would have been like, yeah, I mean, he paid for a Harrier jet. Like, I would not have questioned it. So what the fuck what?
Maybe, man. I don't know. Like, if you like went on the street, you showed people the ad, and then you gave them the context, like, hey, Harrier jet is this much money. Like, I'd have to see the ad. I would actually see the ad. I don't know.
I mean, what if there's a pizza ad and they're like, pizza today, Friday, special Friday, pizza, 25 cents. Like,
yeah,
like
you can run that ad, apparently, according to this, because no reasonable person would believe that pizza could be 25 cents.
And then, yeah, I don't know.
Like,
Yeah, what
the
about all
fuck?
those like crazy furniture ads where the fucking dude is crazy and he's just selling you shit because he's crazy?
You mean Answer My Eyes Johnson?
Yeah, that guy.
Answer my ass, Johnson. I gotta answer my ass. Yeah,
You
that's
just
so
wouldn't be able to buy
ridiculous.
anything from
I think
them.
by the letter of this, you can just say whatever the fuck you want in an advertisement, as long as you can then go back and say, I mean, it sounded pretty ridiculous to me.
Just like say whatever you want, and then later just try to honor the deal. If you can't, you're like, I guess it wasn't reasonable. No reasonable person to get rid of it.
Oh, damn! I guess I couldn't afford an island for that much.
As you see, this is why people are kind of divisive about this particular case. I don't know, man. I don't know. I wanted him to get a jet.
I'm back on the other side. I don't believe in Kimba Wood. It's not his Judge Kimba Wood. It's two names.
It's two
Kimba,
names,
and Wood.
And it's not Kimberly,
Okay.
and it's not Kimba Wood. It's Kimba Wood.
Kimba Wood.
I don't know, man. It's crazy because the kid called up the Pentagon, and he asked them like before they submitted all the money, and he was like, "Can I own a Harrier
How'd that
jet?"
kid get the Pentagon's money number?
I think he just.
How did he just? I can call the Pentagon right now. I'm learning a lot today.
Yeah, you can call almost any government like agency. There will always almost be a secretary. I think he talked to like the PR guy, and the PR guy was I think some like ex-military person, and he was like, can I buy a Harrier? And he's like, if you can't buy a Harrier that has active like military weaponry on it, but we can disarm a Harrier and you can buy it, I guess, if you want.
Yeah, I think that's what Pepsi should have done. They should have given him a scooped out Harrier. Just get rid of everything inside, and it's just the frame of a Harrier jet, and be like, look,
they had one.
that's what was on the thing.
That's what they shot the commercial, and the commercial was in like some prop Harrier.
Yeah, they could have made a prop Harrier for the kid. Come on.
They could have at least given him a prop Harrier. It didn't need to fly. He didn't know.
And honestly, I think they'd be in the rights just to give him like exactly.
Also, stop saying the kid, because this dude was probably like, how old was
the kid was like 25 or so, somewhere between 22
that's not
and
a kid.
The guy. Okay, now he's the guy.
The guy.
Well, I say the kid to distinguish him from his mentor, who was, I think, about 20 years
Can we call them the guy and the old man?
Sure, we'll call him the guy and the old man.
Okay, yeah. Like when you said kid, I imagined like a literal child, like or
It
literal
like paints a more sympathetic
like
picture,
Calvin
right?
Harris,
When you're
sure.
like,
Right,
give
yeah,
the kid a
yeah.
jet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But give this 25-year-old a jet? I don't know anymore.
What's funny is that realistically, you probably would rather give the 25-year-old a jet than like the 12-year-old. But
Yeah, right. Like imagine a 9-year-old writing up a business plan. It's like, oh, like wow, he tried so hard. Like, that you should really just give that kid whatever he wants. Like a 25-year-old writing up a business plan, dog. Like, go work at a 7-Eleven or something.
there's problems solved in the
Jesus
world.
Christ.
Like, forget about the Pepsi points. Yeah. Anyway, so one thing that popped into my mind, I don't know if you guys ever played Battlefield Vietnam. But
Maybe.
one thing that was really funny is that like the helicopters in that game were really hard to fly, and the only way to like learn how to do it was to practice. And right when the game would start, everybody would run towards the helicopter because they want to practice, and some of them were like transport helicopters. So everybody would pile in. Somebody would be like, "Yeah, it's my turn. I got in the driver's seat. Yeah, I get to practice flying." And the helicopter would be like, "Boop, boop, 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 boop." And then like everybody would die. That happened like at least 35% of the time. And that's probably what would happen if the kid actually got Harrier. Like, let's be real.
I mean, you can't, like, even if he gets it, you still have to have like a pilot's license to like fly it. If you know you're gonna get shot down.
I don't think you can make it far enough to get shot down.
There was a story of this older, like, retired Marine pilot who became like super successful in DC real estate. And he was like super into Harriers. I think I sent you this video. This is an old video, not old, but like relatively old. And the dude was like, yeah, went out to England, bought a Harrier before they like scrapped it, and like, I think it was like the FAA. He had to like clear it with them. He was flying around DC all the time. So they're just like, dude, if you do like one wrong step here in DC, we're gonna shoot you down.
Wait, like he flew a Harrier around DC?
Like he lived around DC. I mean, you can't go in DC or like super.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Sure, but like
But,
they were
he's
like,
like-
if you get close,
Yeah, like they're like, dude, we're gonna
I
have
mean-
a fucking eye on you. Like, don't get close to the city. Like,
yeah,
Yes,
dude,
man.
go across the ocean to go buy a Harrier jet and then post up next to the fucking Capitol.
Right.
Hey, I'm just gonna leave my war thing here, okay? Is that okay?
Wasn't there some famous story about this like drunk guy who would like steal a plane from this military base and land it in Manhattan to go get a drink and then he like
fly back. Yes, I vaguely remember this
something
story.
like that. It's like one of those World War II planes, like a P-51 or something, right?
Is there a
Thomas
oh yeah,
Fitzpatrick
JFK.
was an American pilot known for 2 intoxicated flights where he flew from New Jersey to the streets of New York. Landed on the streets
Streets of New York.
Just parallel park your jet. Like what the fuck?
That's incredible.
stole a single-engine plane from Teterboro School of Aeronautics in New Jersey.
Like how is he stealing these planes? Like is he just fucking hot wiring them? Is he just taking the keys? Like what is he doing?
I don't think
You're saying he did it twice?
Yeah.
So the thing about I thought
That
it
was,
was
in the, that was in
military
the
things.
50s. That was in the 50s. So
And-
Oh, okay.
I think he just like went into the plane and like pushed it and it turned on.
Because
Yeah.
military things don't have ignition keys.
Do they not?
No, you just hit a button.
Oh shit.
So you hit a button. In the 50s, I thought like shit needed like external starters, like because nothing had like a starter motor. So you just,
Oh, you
like,
know what? I think that's when they had to take the propeller and just like throw it to get it going. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, just get your arm chopped off. Yeah.
Yeah, they like
Just give
grab
it a
the
nice spin.
propeller and yeah.
The New York Times called it a feat of aeronautics and a fine landing. He was fined $100, equivalent to 1,000 in today's money, after the plane's owner refused to press charges.
Refuse to press charges? What the fuck?
Good on him. That dude is a fucking legend. He said,
Wow,
nah. That's so fucking funny. I love that.
Fantastic. But so if everyone had like the internet as we had now in like the 90s and apparently in the 50s, I don't think a lot of this shit would have happened.
If that would have happened in the 90s, yeah. But in the 90s, like,
Well, I don't think the whole
technology
Pepsi,
was...
I don't think the Pepsi thing would have happened if we had today's internet in the 90s.
You mean the promotion or the Harrier thing?
Both. I think the promotion probably still would have happened, but it would have been different.
I think that...
It would have been like
How often is this actually used in court? Because it sounds like it's something that is fairly frequent since its case.
I don't know. I honestly have no idea. But I do know like sometimes there's like a case that just becomes like, I forgot that word for it, but it's just like everyone studies it, and it's like, oh, you know, this thing that like we talk about in theory for 50 years rarely has come up in such a way. So now we study this case to like really see the practical application of the theory that we've talked about for 50 years.
He was 21.
Yeah. The guy, not the old man. The old man was probably 45 during that time.
Yeah, I don't see anything about him on this, which is probably good. But I do like this. Leonard claimed that a federal judge was incapable of deciding on the matter, and that instead the decision had to be made by a jury consisting of members of the Pepsi generation.
That's true. So the judge didn't even let it go to a jury. If it went to a jury, like the shit might have been way different.
Oh man, I wish.
And it
We were fucking cowards in the 90s. We're still cowards.
But they briefly talk about Kimba Wood. She was slated to go on the Supreme Court. I think it was going to be one of Bill Clinton's nominations for the Supreme Court, but she had like an affair or some shit, and kind of
A fucking affair?
she had some shit like that. I don't remember.
Also known as the love judge for her alleged affair with Wall Street financier Frank Richardson.
There you go.
Man, she sounds...
Amazing.
Oh my god, wait a minute. I need to do research on this. Continue.
Okey-doke. But yeah, so after dial-up era into DSL era, that's when I started torrenting more stuff. I did break like 2 computers with viruses.
You broke them?
I bricked them.
What do you mean?
Bricked them.
You brick them?
Yeah.
How did you brick a
Just-
computer with a virus?
Just kept like, you just keep torrenting stuff. You just keep torrenting stuff. You're a kid. I don't know. Sometimes you open up like a fucking exe file by accident when you download some shit, and then like
I had one of those situations. It didn't break my computer, but I like opened something up that I definitely shouldn't have, and like weird stuff started happening.
Oh,
on my
yeah, I mean, that
computer,
was-
and
that was-
immediately shut it down.
That was a regular experience. Like you would just get a virus sometimes. It was just kind of like, you know, you get in a car accident sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get a virus. Like
Pour
it's
some
the same
chicken
deal,
noodle soup in there.
right?
Rest for a few days.
Yeah. Sometimes you just got to reformat your whole computer. How does it brick it though?
I mean, I guess it wasn't like bricked, but it was just like so infested with viruses. We just stopped using that computer.
Okay, so someone didn't know how to like reset it.
Pretty much.
Okay, that makes way more sense. Okay.
I didn't even know where if I'm honest, like I don't remember like where I got computers from at that age.
Gotcha.
I think like I don't know. I think like my uncle would give us like old computers, or someone would keep dropping off computers. I don't know.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I had a couple uncles that were like computer guys, so if something like blew up, like we could fix it. But I guess not everybody had like a computer guy in their family.
That was me for my family, so they were kind of fucked.
Right? Yeah.
I should have been. I know I should have been supervised more because like the computers that got broken, like I had a bunch of tools, so I just like open them up and like fuck around like with their insides and like mess with capacitors. I think I even opened up a power
Oh
supply
God.
once. I could have been dead.
Did you ever get electrocuted before, Alan?
um, once we had a garage at our old house, and the guys that were like fixing the garage kind of MacGyvered a plug. Literally, like there was no like plug. It was just like they like stripped the power and like coiled the two wires and just like stuck them in the outlet. While they were like fixing the shit on the inside, I had to get something from the garage. I didn't really notice, so I just like go to pull it, and then all I realize is that like my hand can't move because there's like a shock. There's a current in my
Oh
fingers,
fuck, dude.
and like my muscles won't contract.
Holy shit.
Um,
That's scary.
yeah, it's all in like a half a second. So like my hand goes numb, my muscles don't work. I think I just remember like leaning back, so I just fall and let go of it.
Okay, so
Good for
so
you for
unplugged
not
it
getting
that
cooked,
way.
man. Holy shit.
Yeah, and I just like stayed away from the garage for a while.
Yeah. Holy shit.
That's my experience of being electrocuted.
Fantastic. I think I almost got electrocuted one time. Like apparently I took a pair of tweezers and I noticed like it fits perfectly into the plug, and I just kind of like shoved it in there. But my mom like slapped that shit away from me before like anything bad happened.
They used to do that in high school. In my high school, kids would do that. Like
Shove tweezers in the fucking wall sockets.
not tweezers. Like I remember in freshman year. I think it was Daniel Cox. He was like, "Dude, look at this."
He
Like,
told me he used to do that.
yeah, he takes like you take like the aluminium of the like the gum wrapper and like you make like
The what?
the aluminium of a gum wrapper.
Like the foil.
The what?
The aluminium of the gun
The
wrapper.
alley yumi yumi.
He's being a cunt. Let's just ignore him.
And you make like a two prong like little like utensil out of it, and they just like carefully jam it into like the outlets at school, and it would cause like a big spark and a flame.
It would burn the outlet out. Yeah.
Did it pop a breaker or did
I don't
just burn
remember.
the fucking foil?
Those
I don't
weren't
remember.
invented.
I mean, the outlet probably just fried. Like,
I think
probably didn't get to the breaker. I think that it probably tripped something in the outlet, turned it off.
I think it tripped something in the outlet. One time there was like a small fire.
Jesus fuck.
It just like burnt the carpet like right around it, but someone like stomped it out.
I got electrocuted one time. Really bad. I had a burn that went from like my hand up to my elbow from it. I had to go to the hospital and stuff. It shot me across the room. I don't know. I like played with something. I don't remember what happened. I remember the actual, aftermath of it, but I stuck like a clothes hanger inside of a electrical socket, and it electrocuted me and shot me across the room. And it fixed
Christ.
my heart murmur. Apparently I had a heart murmur when I was
Fixed your
younger.
heart-
Apparently I had a heart
Sick.
murmur when I was younger, and my mom called our family doctor after I got electrocuted and told him, and the doctor laughed and said, "Well, that probably fixed his heart murmur." And it did.
Damn.
That's awesome. Did you have
Good
like
for you, buddy.
was the burn in like the shape of a thunderbolt?
Was it on
No,
your forehead?
no, it was on my wrist. It was just like straight down the middle of my wrist.
Interesting.
It was just like a little scorch.
That's terrifying, but kind of cool. I don't remember like my transition from like old internet to new internet. Like I remember like the different.
What do you consider new internet? At what point?
So there's like
Gmail and Facebook.
there's like the modern internet, which is like what we use today, but then the new internet, yeah, I think is like I can't maybe that's a good point, Nate. That might be maybe around like the Gmail, Facebook, MySpace era, it shifts to like what's now recognizable as the current internet.
The later
Right, Web
2000s.
2.0.
Yeah, because even when like YouTube first came out, like there was so much shit on there, before like the AI and the bots and shit could take it all down. Like all the movies, full resolution, like weird
Yeah.
porn, like everything was on there. Once people sort of started discovering it,
Yeah, like my first, the first time I ever heard of YouTube was some guy from the school like recorded a really creepy like love letter video to a girl that he was kind of stalking. It was really really weird. Like I think everyone in the school saw the video, but like what the fuck? It was really really fucking weird.
Jesus Christ, guy. That's it's not the way to do it, buddy.
No,
That's the kind of person that we have to have those like HR trainings about.
right? Yeah,
There are those
I
where
mean,
they're like, don't try and show your coworkers porn. Just don't do it. Like,
right? Yeah,
somebody wants to see your porn.
but it was like the first time I ever heard of like someone actually uploading their own video to somewhere for other people to be able to watch. And unfortunately for that guy and that girl, I guess, like it just happened to be that.
Sounds like some child sex trafficking stuff. You said this was in high school?
It was high school. I think it was like junior, senior year, yeah.
I remember we like Google Videos was better than YouTube, even after the acquisition. And there's still some shit that used to be on Google Videos that's just lost forever now, because they never like. I don't know why Google didn't just like automatically like just re-upload all that shit to YouTube, but I miss Google Videos. There's a lot of cool shit on there.
I don't know if I ever got into Google Videos. I don't remember YouTube that much in the early days either. Remember the shoes video? I think that was it. Like I don't remember anything else from that. I used to watch most stuff through Newgrounds.
Yeah,
like Salad Fingers and stuff. I watched that all through Newgrounds. I'm pretty sure.
YouTube had a pretty distinctive like style. The early YouTube had like it was its own thing. Like it had like the content creators just it's kind of like found like the most it's found like the most popular style, right? So now it's all this really like I guess it's like Mr. Beast and PewDiePie or whatever, but like before it used to be people making like I don't think I can even describe it, but like like the Wine Cone. I think for a while he was like the most popular YouTuber, and like I think you can still find his videos, but it just seems like very old school now. I guess yeah. Do you guys watch that with the Wine Cone?
I don't know what that is.
And Baratz
No
and
idea.
Beretta. They were just these
No
like,
idea what that is.
yeah, I guess the early YouTube. I was on the front page. Like you could actually see like what the most popular like videos on YouTube were, what the most popular channels were, and they were just these like kind of comedy channels, but they were very like I don't know, not like the degree of polish that you have now. I don't even know how to describe them. Okay, next topic.
Yeah, I mean,
I do hear people talk a lot about like early YouTube. That YouTube has changed. YouTube is different. Like early YouTube is so much better. But I've never heard anybody actually talk about why and what early YouTube was. Like, so I don't know what it is. I don't know what was that
it's just a
like.
bunch of slurs. Like, just ignore those people.
Okay.
So one thing, early YouTube, in my mind, it's like the cuts were longer. This like this kind of jump cut style where people like do a cut every sentence. That's sort of new, and I remember for a while finding that very jarring. And now that seems normal to me, but it was like people do like longer shots before.
And this is like the vlog style of like somebody just talking to a camera, or are you talking more about like
for vlogs,
sketches
yeah.
or
Well, you have
sketches,
to remember,
both sketches and vlogs. Yeah, they wouldn't do like shortcuts the way they do now.
Yeah, I mean, like, there was a lot more gaming the algorithm, a lot less gaming the algorithm. So, like, you would have, like, 100-episode-long series with, like, the same thumbnail every fucking video. Like, just increment the video number, basically. Like, if you go back and look at, like, Total Biscuit's channel, it's kind of like that. Like, he had several different YouTube series, and, like, it was just, like, the different names and different thumbnails, but like they were all like the same thumbnail from the same series.
Yeah, that's what I remember watching most on YouTube. It was like independent journalism stuff, which I think kind of like what I would classify Total Biscuit stuff as. Like he would, talk about the industry, talk about stuff that's going on. He would talk about some games that are coming out or whatever. And then there's like the sketch and comedy side of it.
Well, Justin brings up a good point that like early YouTube was just people doing whatever. Then some people got popular. Then some people realized that like, oh, like YouTube actually pays you. Then once that happened, then it became like figuring out how to maximize like your profits. Like on the one hand, I get it. Like you need to make a bunch of money if you want to be like paying people to like edit and like shoot and like keep a roof over your head. But it did get to a point where it's just like, okay, like the algorithm does reward certain behavior. People themselves reward certain behavior. So you have to maximize that. Like you have to maximize like the fucking like whatever. What do you call it? Like
Skinner box.
no, like the monkey brain people just like clicking like, oh, the next thing, oh, the next thing, and then you also have to maximize the algorithm, just being like, okay, like what's going on here, and that's how you get
Isn't
to
that a Skinner box where you like have instant gratification for like doing an action such as pressing a button or something? And that's what like a lot of video game stuff is like predicated on, this idea of
Right.
reward from action.
Sounds like it, yes.
So I think I found some words for what early YouTube was like. Like, so it was more personal. It was a lot more personal, and that's because like the archetype for like a YouTuber to be this like public, like extroverted thing didn't exist yet. So it's like even when people were doing videos in public, like you could tell they were struggling. They were struggling to get through it, and it was like, and a lot of the time, more often they'd just like kind of walk in the woods, and people would kind of talk in like kind of quiet voices. It was like this kind of personal alternative world for them.
Do you remember a few videos like that of people walking in the woods talking in quiet voices, or like a lot of filming in the woods? Like a person would just be filming and they're just like standing in the woods talking to a camera.
Yeah, it was like this. It was like this, not like a mainstream culture thing to do. It was like people. There's like a little note of shame in the whole thing. Like,
I think for me, that's like the one thing that I feel like YouTube has gotten away from. It's no longer like at its core, at the start of YouTube, it was supposed to be kind of that thing, right? These like small, independent, personal kind of videos going up, and now it's
like a public
just a
persona.
conglomerate.
Yeah, it's just another place for people to have their public persona. It's all very like curated and manicured and whatnot.
Yeah, like, kind of shifting topics like a little bit, but like, Twitch has kind of had an interesting, like, bend. Like originally it was Justin TV, where the Justin CEO guy, the guy who founded the site, was like, I just want people to stream their lives, like their whole lives. I think it would be really interesting if they did it, like, and then just like stream 24/7. And then it kind of like centralized around gaming, like, people would like stream their gameplay, playing on ladder, on StarCraft, or like League of Legends or whatever. And then it switched to Twitch, and now we're kind of like getting back to the original like thought of like just streaming 24/7. Like you have literal just sleeping streams.
Yeah. I remember early Justin TV, and even after the change to Twitch, when there was Twitch TV and Justin TV as like separate sites, that like a big thing on there were just people pirating and streaming shows nonstop. I would always go there and just like Google any show I wanted to watch, and there would just be a stream of someone just like,
just have that show
going,
repeat.
just playing the
pirating
entire
content.
show. Yeah. I thought that's what led to the downfall of Justin TV and why it had to move to Twitch.
I don't think so. Like, I think they were just trying to generate more original content, and that's just kind of what they centralized around, just like video games, because people that was the original content on the website. It was video game stuff.
I mean, I think that may or may not be a natural progression of things, and I think that's mostly because of people and just like what people's interests are. I think that's how Mr. Beast became like the fucking biggest sensation ever. Apparently he and his friends like studied all this online shit for like 2 years and figured out like the perfect formula that like of videos that like just people want to watch. And it's just like, all right, this is gonna get the most algorithm hits. It's gonna get the most like people hits, and they just fucking start doing it. I think they got like 50, 60, 70 million subscribers now. So some obscene number.
It's basically like a game show, but it's like every episode's like a new like game show premise. I think it's kind of cool actually.
Yeah, it's every episode is like that one sitcom episode where you can't stop touching the car.
Everybody
Yeah.
just keep the camera in the car.
Right, yeah.
Good lord, subscribers, 114 million subscribers.
Good for him.
We're talking about Mr. Beast.
Mr. Beast.
I don't know who that is. My mom sent me an article a few weeks ago about Mr. Beast looking for a producer, and she was like, "Oh, you could go work for Mr. Beast." It's like I had no fucking idea who Mr. Beast is.
Yeah. Like I know of him, but I don't think I've ever like actually sat down and watched a video of his.
I have
In-
actually.
I have
Austin,
not-
there's a place called Mr. Beast Burger. Is that?
Yeah.
Does he
he's
own
burger-
that?
Burger chain.
that's the guy. Like I know of him
Interesting.
because I watched some other YouTubers who reference him. I've seen his like videos, like the thumbnails on like the trending stuff, but I never like none of them really interest me. But he has fucking almost 19 billion channel views on his main channel and almost 30 billion combined between his channels.
It's kind of so. There's a note of like a Squid Game kind of vibe to it. Like there's that part of it. Like I've seen him do things where it's like there'll be like one room of like 50 girls, one room of like 50 guys, and then like whoever has the most people in the room after 48 hours or something wins or something like that. And
He also did like a
something like that.
Squid Game. Didn't he do a
Yeah,
Squid
he
Game
literally
thing?
had a Squid Game.
Well,
I
but
remember people being like,
kinda
"It's this
that,
is
though.
very." Like not understanding you didn't understand the material.
Well, you can't kill anybody, but you can. I don't know. Use paintballs.
But it's like an allegory for like
I mean, at this point, he's gonna.
wealth inequality in our.
You can't kill anybody yet.
Yeah, it's not. What if you shame someone so much that they can never get a job again because everybody listens to what Mr. Beast says, and then that person dies from not being able to feed themselves?
I mean, it'll happen soon enough.
If it hasn't already, I'm sure there are plenty of people that have died after getting like canceled or something, just because they couldn't get work anymore, or they had to go work at McDonald's.
Maybe. I wouldn't be surprised. I think like
That's like a form of Squid Game.
well,
You're
gonna,
out.
We're gonna get like once we have like the Chinese social policy. Like once someone gets canceled, like anytime you want to get a job, they'll have to look up like your social credit score, and then they'll see that like, oh, you've been canceled like 3 times, buddy. Sorry.
Nah, man, we'll never get there. Elon Musk will save us.
Oh my god.
Old
Should we
Muskie-
end there?
I actually hate that guy now.
Why do you hate him now?
Good.
I don't know. It's just he just like he's just out there. I don't know. It's like all the he's like he thinks that Twitter. It's like he's got to save America by getting all the Nazis on Twitter. Like that's what he thinks we need, right?
What, you don't believe in free speech?
Apparently not. I thought. I mean, maybe they're not. Whatever that is. I don't know.
I'm agreeing with you. I think he doesn't really understand what the hell he's talking about. But I can't imagine someone being like not that dumb, but like willfully ignorant of what they're talking about. Especially a guy who has literally has PR teams following him 24/7.
I don't think he does. I think that's the main problem right now. And if he does, like, they're not doing a good job. Isn't that the point of that team, supposed to actually tell them what the public relation is?
I cannot imagine like the CEO, like a CEO of like major companies, because he is apparently like co-CEO or not co-CEO, but CEO of like multiple companies at the same time. They all have boards of directors. I guarantee you the boards are gonna say you need to have a PR team. Whether or not he listens to them, I don't know, but he for 100% has at least 5 people from 3 different companies that like are calling him daily and
I
just
don't know,
like,
dude. I know what Elon
I-
Musk's nightstand looks like. It's four
Yeah,
four
if he
Diet
had a
Cokes and
PR
gun.
team, he
Like,
would
there's
not
no
be
way.
posting that
There's
kind of
two
shit.
guns.
what do you say? Elon
Was it
Musk
two gun?
nightstand?
One was like
Nightstand?
a
Oh, man.
antique.
I've also heard a lot of shit about like the companies that he's CEO of, that most of it just becomes like what Twitter has become now. Nobody has titles, so that nobody can actually like figure out what their job is, and the whole company just becomes about like appeasing this fucking multi-billionaire man-child.
Justin, are you referencing his fucking bedside table?
Yeah.
Yes, his literal Twitter post.
He tweeted it. Why?
This is
Dude, that just screams, "I'm divorced." Like, what? Why?
I mean, Jesus Christ. I don't know, man. Like
So I saw the theory that one of his kids like kind of disowned him, and he's just been in a spiral ever since, and that actually makes sense.
Yeah, especially after the Grimes divorce too. He's got a ton of kids, right?
I think it's like
The one that disowned him was
It wasn't one of the Grimes ones.
no. It's no, because the Grimes one is like 3 at this.
There's actually two.
There's 2 Grimes ones.
Yeah.
I didn't realize I had 2 babies. Damn.
So the
He
second
has
one was a
a-
secret because she's a surrogate.
Ooh.
I don't know, man. I still think he like
This is some dystopian shit.
I could be wrong, because every time I say this about something, like it never ends up being the case, and it's always ends up being like almost the worst case scenario. It's like I always believe that there's like some big plan, some shit's gonna happen, and it's all gonna work out. But again, every time I say that, it never happens. So
No, he's a fucking moron with unlimited funds.
The funny thing is, like, even if you think that like it's evidence that he's smart, that he like has lots of billions of dollars, then this last year the fact that he's lost the most money ever makes him like the dumbest person ever.
yeah,
Yeah, by the same logic. By that
The
same
same
logic,
logic.
it should.
it's insane. Like there's so many other better companies to just buy. Like I don't get it. Make your own Twitter. Fucking hookers and blackjack. Like I don't
I
get
mean,
it.
again, I don't think he wanted to. He was just trolling.
No, because then nobody would join it. Like
What
he
sucks-
bought Twitter because he thought that he would have like an instant, 150 million friends that would all have to listen to him. Now, if he started his own social media site from scratch, like the only people that are going to be on there is fucking fanboys.
It doesn't matter. Like he's
Twitter, he's grabbed us all. He said, "Hey, guess what? Gotcha." Like the social media was a net.
Yeah, he's the new Tom.
And what really sucks about the whole thing though is that this is like instead of Mars. There's no more Mars. It's just this now. Like,
Yep.
Goodbye, Mars.
Bye-bye.
I mean, as much as I think he's pushed certain industries, notably electric car industries, like forward quite quickly, I don't think he was
I think
gonna
you
be
should
able to
look
bring
up
us to
the.
Mars.
I think you should look up the actual story between him and Tesla.
I understand that that there were guys already making the cars. He can't
That he bought his way in and did nothing, and
I don't
except for
think-
like
he didn't do nothing. He bought it.
be
he bought
the
in when
face
they,
of it.
No, he bought it when they made the Tesla Roadster, which was an absolutely awful car. It was absolutely horrendous car, but the battery technology was really good even back then. And then Tesla's it is what it is now. It was the Model S was the game changer, and I don't think the original founders of Tesla had that much.
Would have
with
gone
the
there.
Model S.
Okay.
I mean, it's the same thing with like any other company that like does a big shift forward. Like Amazon, I know Bezos was in Amazon from the beginning, but Amazon was just pretty much an online bookstore, and now it does like cloud hosting and like it's the marketplace for stuff. So
Owns
mean-
Twitch is the like go-to place for buying anything, even groceries at this point.
yeah,
They own Whole Foods too now,
they
right?
they do own Whole Foods,
Yeah.
and I actually went to a Whole Foods in DC the other day, and they switched it to one of those automated Whole Foods, or one of those automated like it's like the Amazon Fresh store, but it's still Whole Foods. So like I went in there, fucking 10 million cameras up in the ceiling, and they're just like, please scan your palm biometrics to like enter and pay with like your palm. I was like, no thank you, ma'am, is there another way? And she's like, yes, you can go around Go around like the palm reader. And, like,
Yes, but it's past that This is like it's like a Nathan for You sketch. Like, you can have the TVs, but they're past the alligator.
Nice.
no, she was like, you have to go around and then you have to self check out. I was like, okay, I can self check out. Like, I'm not scared of it. But
Did
the
they
thing,
give you like a flag to carry around or something? Like,
no, no. But
this one's not biometric.
what's funny though, it's at that Whole Foods. Like, if you really want to min max, like, I don't know, the shit you buy, I guess you can figure it out. But at that Whole Foods, you didn't buy anything by the pound. Everything was by the unit. So like a tomato, instead of being like, $1 a pound, was $1 each, or like 50 cents each, because like, the cameras can't weigh what you're buying. You have to just like kind of, I guess they technically could if they put a scale in the thing, but it gets complicated. So because they have to like count the one that you take, everything was just, straight up cost per unit, not cost per pound.
I wonder how much like computation that costs.
I was thinking
like,
the same thing too.
Yeah,
like watch
that
it
seems
like cost. It like costs a tomato's worth of GPU to like figure out that you're holding a
Yeah.
tomato.
It was a weird store. I don't necessarily like it. I guess it's okay like once in a while, but like if like major grocery stores turn to that, I probably will like.
What if you just go there and you like you go to the tomatoes and you just like pick up a tomato, you like look at it, put it back, pick up a tomato, put it back, pick up a tomato, put it back, and then there's some like warehouse in like Herndon that starts like blowing up. Like it's like no, you put back the tomato again.
Well, I wonder. I'm sure they have some like upper limit for like how many people can be shopping at once, because there's like gates that you have to like get through. So I'm sure after like 10 people, 50 people, 100 people, like the gates will just close and just like you have to wait till people leave. But yeah,
like
it was weird. I don't even think you would like that experience that much, Justin.
I don't know, man. Like I've become kind of accepting of like the surveillance state. I
The
don't know.
surveillance state.
Yeah.
I mean,
Not the surveillance-y part of it, just kind of like, I don't know, the weird part of it. It felt like I was in the internet. So let's just say that. Like, it's like one of those episodes of a sitcom where like you put on like the VR and then you're inside of like the internet.
that's what Justin wants.
I mean, kind of. I don't know. I kind of want to go. Like,
I think it's. They can track you in there too, right? They can see what you're doing.
in where the internet?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's kind of part of the internet now.
Yeah, just gotta get used to it, I guess. The surveillance state.
But it's I mean it's not the state though. It's like the big companies.
Potato.
What's worse?
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Gentlemen, any final thoughts on the internet, lawsuits, Amazon, Twitch?
Glad we have the internet. Pepsi sucks. Go Coke.
Internet good. Capitalism good. Soda bad for you. Tax soda. I don't know.
I'm just gonna have a radical take here and just say internet bad.
Okay.
Yeah, that's cray.
All electric appliances bad. We should go back to sticks. No, nobody was killing each other back then.
That's right. No one ever killed each other with sticks and stones.
Not until the invention of the internet.
It's a statistically insignificant number of people killed each other with sticks and stones.
Definitely less than have killed each other since then.
Yeah.
All right, boys and girls. All right, viewers. That's it's been the ALCast for this week. We'll catch you next time where it'll be Justin's topic. Until then, see ya.
See ya.
Bye. Sing us
Bye-bye.
out.
Do 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 do.